of Boris Johnson is under growing pressure over claims of sleaze. Last week he tried to overhaul rules around standards and the behaviour of lawmakers, with critics insisting it was to save a Conservative MP from suspension. The House of Commons Standards Committee recommended a 30-day suspension for Owen Paterson MP for lobbying on behalf of two companies which were paying him over $137,000 a year. But instead of backing that decision, the Conservatives called for an overhaul of the entire system that oversees lawmakers' standards. Despite winning that vote last week, the government backtracked and said it had made a mistake. Meanwhile, Owen Paterson has quit Parliament.
The ayes to the right, 248. The noes to the left, 221.
What we've got to make sure is that we take all this very, very seriously and that we get it right. And there's a debate today. Unfortunately, I can't be there because I've had a long-standing engagement up here. But Labour want to focus, the opposition obviously want to focus on a particular case, a particular MP who suffered a serious personal tragedy and who's now resigned.
Prime Minister, with respect,
can I just finish off? And what we want to do, and I frankly, I don't think there's much more to be said about that particular case. I really don't.
Boris Johnson did miss that emergency Commons debate on Monday, which was called to discuss the issues around standards. It saw several MPs accusing his government of corruption. Downing Street says the Prime Minister had a long-standing commitment and so couldn't lead the debate for the government. But opposition leader Keir Starmer accused Boris Johnson of running scared from the debate on Sleaze claims.
When the Prime Minister gives the green light to corruption, he corrodes that trust. When he says that the rules to stop vested interests don't apply to his friends, he corrodes that trust. And when he deliberately undermines those charged with stopping corruption, he corrodes that trust. And that is exactly what the Prime Minister did last week. Rather than repairing the damage that he's done, the Prime Minister is running scared. When required to lead, he's chosen to hide. His concern, as always, is self-preservation.
Well, for the latest on this, we can cross now live to Laura Makin-Isherwood, who is joining us from London. And Laura, how much pressure is Boris Johnson under over the government's handling of the standards issue?
Well, it's certainly making headlines here in the United Kingdom. And of course, it's not just the opposition party, Labour, that are raising their concerns about it, but also Boris Johnson's own MPs. Some senior Conservative MPs last night in the House of Commons at that debate that Boris Johnson did not attend definitely made their voices heard in trying to condemn the actions of the Conservative government. Boris Johnson, of course, was in the northeast of England making a visit to a hospital that he says he couldn't return from in time for that debate. There are some questioning whether or not that was indeed the case, saying that he could have sped up and he could have actually attended, and that was important. But the Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab has said that the government is focused on the job in hand. However, the Speaker of the House of Commons, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, has said that the situation around this vote and this attempt to try to overturn standards issues within Parliament has actually led to a dangerous and volatile atmosphere, he says. He says he's got deep concerns about where it's left the House. So there could be many more questions coming on this for the Prime Minister. And Laura, second jobs for MPs, that seems to be now increasingly in the spotlight as this so-called sleaze controversy develops. Yes, absolutely. And this isn't the first time that second jobs have been brought into the spotlight. There have been questions over MP salaries for decades, but now it seems with people focusing on Owen Paterson's situation, a number of other high-profile MPs and former members of the government have been brought into this as well, not least the former Attorney General Geoffrey Cox. There's reports that he was paid almost £1 million for legal work over the past year on top of his MP's salary. And Labour's party chair Annalise Dodds has now written to the Prime Minister about that. They're saying that they want more clarity, and there's also questions about whether a cap should be brought in. But of course, we are waiting for a response from the former Attorney General Geoffrey Cox, and we are also, I suppose, waiting for more from Number 10 on that letter from Labour.
OK, Laura, thank you.